More breaking news coming in. The man who stabbed YSR Congress chief Jagan Mohan Reddy has now been identified. Now, the attacker introduced himself as his fan and requested for a selfie. While Jagan posed for the selfie, he tried to stab him on the neck. He was a former staffer at the airport itself. Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, meanwhile, has ordered a probe into this entire incident. Those are the details coming in. This is the breaking news coming in as far as what happened with Jagan Mohan Reddy at Vizag Airport. Let's go across to Meenakshi, who's joining us at this point. Meenakshi, take us through the latest details that you're picking up. Who was this man? We understand he pretended to be a fan and then ended up attacking Jagan Mohan Reddy.
Well, Avni, indeed, this is a grave situation. This is a situation where now we will see a lot of back and forth being exchanged between various agencies and especially CISF. Because remember, just a short while back, Suresh Prabhu has placed the onus on CISF seeking a report from them. He has also gone on record to slam and condemn this incident. He has asked for the agencies to fix accountability. So therefore, we will see a lot of back and forth. But coming back to the incident itself, essentially the facts and circumstances about this attack, Avni, like you correctly referred to, Jagan Mohan Reddy had gone to use the washroom. Subsequent to his stepping out, there was this person who approached him and introduced himself as a fan of Jagan, and then on the pretext of posing for a selfie, he made this attempt to attack Jagan on his neck. When Jagan tried to dodge or really move away, that is when he sustained these minor injuries on his shoulder.
Meenakshi, I'm going to interrupt you for just a moment. I'm being joined on the phone line by Ganapati of the CIFS at this point. Thank you very much for joining us. Can you tell us some more details as to who this person is and how he actually managed to get this sharp object into the airport?
See, as your reporter was saying, this person is an insider. He works in the restaurant which is situated right next to the lounge where Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy was sitting. So he had a valid airport entry pass. All the employees of hotels and other, shops, etc., they're given airport entry passes. As you know, when you enter the airport, you just show the documents and the tickets, etc., and subsequently, when you enter the security hold area, your frisked and your belongings are screened. So this lounge is in between that area, inside the gate, but at the same time before the SHA. So at that point of time, nobody is actually frisked. Only the entry passes or tickets, as the case may be, are checked. So this fellow, being an employee of the hotel, had a valid airport entry pass, on the strength of which he was working in the hotel. So he came ostensibly to serve tea or coffee and also asked for a selfie, presumably. And then in the process, he took out a very small knife, which is a 2-inch blade, and he stabbed Mr. Jagan Mohan on the arm. So subsequently, he was immediately nabbed, actually, with the CISF personnel who were there and handed over to the local police. Now, we don't know the exact motive why this person resorted to this attack, but I think subsequent investigation should throw more details into it.
Right. Mr. Ganapati, do you believe that, there is an issue in terms of the kind of security? You said that, of course, in this particular area where this man approached Jagan Mohan Reddy, there was no frisking, and there is no frisking that happens at that point or before that point. But does this bring into focus any kind of security concerns overall?
Yeah, across airports, not just in India, even internationally, one of the new threats is the insider threat, actually. People who work in the airports, people who work in the, restaurants, shops, etc. So this is a new threat which has come over, recent times. So now we have to think something about how to plug those threats, actually, how to do better background checks, what are the agencies which should do those background checks. See, the problem is, if you start frisking every person who enters the terminal at the departure gate, the entry gate, as you may understand,
yes,
that will lead to extremely long queues, etc. So the present system is you do random checking of baggages, etc., and profile a few people. But those with valid entry passes, that's an altogether different class. So there is a basic element of trust. So now we have to think on how to make it work, not just on the basis of trust, but some hard protocols.
Right. So you do believe there is now perhaps a need for the people who otherwise have regular access to the airport, who work inside the airport, for them to undergo some sort of security, some sort of screening as well?
Exactly. And that goes beyond CISF, because we have no powers of doing the background checks, etc.
Right.
So we have to work with the local police to find out what is the background, the mental state, etc., so that, these kind of freak incidents can be avoided.
All right, we leave it there. Thank you very much, Mr. Ganapati, for joining us with your perspective and telling us the entire sequence of events as they happened. Let's go back to Meenakshi, who's still with us. Meenakshi, so clearly from what we just heard, there is a need at this point to ensure that there is some sort of a better security measure in place for people, not just the passengers, but people who actually work within the airport.
Well, indeed, Amni, this is a serious incident. This is serious because Jagan Mohan Reddy is a very, very popular, tall leader. And that's the reason we are seeing so many reactions also come in so thick and fast. Chandrababu Naidu has already... Suresh Prabhu has spoken out condemning this attack, and we have heard there from the CISF office bearer telling us about the protocol as it exists in the current system in the present form and date. But going forward, Abni, the big questions which investigators will be looking at is whether this assailant was acting in isolation, whether he was acting at the behest of someone, whether he has any prior history of mental imbalance, whether he has any antecedents which links him to Jagan Mohan Reddy vis-a-vis having a grievance with Jagan Mohan Reddy in any which way. And that apart, how did he procure the knife? Was he carrying that on his own self as a result of having access to the canteen and subsequently to the kitchen of the canteen? These are the pertinent questions which the investigators will be focusing on very soon in the foreseeable future. But the larger question about those employees who operate within the airport complexes, whether they are from the service sector, whether they are from the other aspects of airport, upkeep and maintenance staff, all those people, their entries perhaps will need to be monitored better. Merely having an ID card or requisite documents and not having the frisking process in place for them perhaps will now be reviewed somewhere, Abni.
Absolutely, Meenakshi. Thanks so much for joining us and getting us all those details.